Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you today that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And that subject is a response to a video I recently saw, sort of. I was browsing through some topics online, and I saw one that caught my eye, and it said, it was a recent video with the title, Crime is Legal. Say that again. The video was not my video, but there was this video called Crime is Legal, and I may include a link in the description. Okay, well, I want to talk about that, and there's an idea going around, some confusion, if you will, that crime has to be handled with an absolute law or not at all. Okay, well, it's one of those things we call flying to extremes. There's something in the middle called a guideline, and if somebody's intentions are good and we're being fair about it, we're not making a rule for every single person, but what we're saying is it's a crime if you hurt somebody afterwards, not before. So it's kind of an order of operations. I've talked about this in other videos, and I want to go into a little bit about that. It's going to be a short video, but I'm going to expand on something interesting. So in a perfect world, if you can imagine, there would be justice. Hopefully we can agree on justice as being a good thing, fairness in general. And what you can imagine is that people are free to do what they please. If you're, an autonomous consenting person of any age, able to consent, and that means you have the wherewithal to understand a proposal and make decisions on your own. You're not completely dependent. That is, you're not, a small child who cannot make decisions, and that's a different conversation. But I'm saying if you are able to make decisions and you're able to consent and you're somewhat responsible for something, you're free to do whatever you please at that point. And it is for no one else to tell you what to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody. And when you do hurt somebody, we call that a crime or a sin. And in a perfect world, that's the same thing, according to me. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it means that you've got to consider circumstances. You've got to consider special cases. And when it really boils down to it, every alleged crime is a special case. In a perfect world with justice, you would have investigation, you would have due process. Those are the key words. I'm going to say that again. Due process cannot be overemphasized. And that is to say that laws and crime as we understand it now in this part of the world attempt to replace due process. We try to substitute rules and precedent, that is something that happened in the past, as written in a book. There are law books for due process. So it's no longer a question of whether there was harm or bad behavior. It's a question of whether this legal symbol, this language, happens to fit the thing that happened, which may or may not even have been a problem. Well, there's obviously a problem with that system. So anyway, not to go on and on about that. That's not really the subject either. So the question is, what is crime and does it exist? Is crime legal is the question. No, it's not. Crime is real. Crime can happen, and we know it when we see it. When you injure somebody, when you breach a contract, when you take something that wasn't yours, trespass, when you violate someone's boundaries. There's a lot of ways to commit a crime, and it's not when you do something that matches a description. That's the point. That's the whole big point. It's not about the description. It's about the injury. It's about the violation of agreement when it comes down to it. And then after that, if there's a substantiated injury, that is, someone was demonstrably injured or violated in some way, then you can start discussing it, documenting it, invoking those symbols, processing it, prosecuting it. And crime is very real at that point, but not before. You do not, in a perfect world, you do not curtail people's behavior preemptively. in anticipation that they could possibly do something wrong just because it happens to match a description. That's what it means. Crime is definitely real. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions or concerns, email me at whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Have a great day.